Wow, everything's bouncing around. It's a total mess. That's gonna be the problem. So, whew, it's already hot. It's crazy. Good morning. How is everybody? Let me get to my thing so I can see the chat. Because we're running an archaic setup here. And my computer's slow. Super slow. Live. There we go. Why is that downloading twice? Live chat. All right, cool. Let me know if you can hear me, if you're here. If not, yell at me. Got my wet palette, got some substrate. We're gonna be doing a bit of a graveyard type scene. We're gonna use this big black poster board that's gonna take up the whole screen right now. But we're gonna add dirt, some of these green tones, some moss, and that way, how can I explain it? I know this is too high right now, but when I shoot like this way, I can have these in the background that are like walls that I've made to give that kind of like spooky mausoleum wall or church wall. Definitely modular. Definitely like, and I believe this is empty, so I'm gonna have to create my own gray, which is gonna be fun. And yeah, we're just gonna use regular dirt from the New Mexico desert or my yard. And we're gonna use this meat tray. We're gonna cut it out and we're gonna turn it into like flagstones, like a broken walking path. We're gonna paint this as well because it could go with it. It could be a door. You never know. I might 3D print a wood door, or if anything, we can use foam and we can just make a door real quick. So I have other ones of these, but there'll be a lot of painting today. Got some 3D printed gravestones in ash gray by Polymaker. I only say that because I'm just telling you what everything is. And we're gonna be using the sponge technique on these to give it that stone look. So I'm gonna need to make multiple different colors of gray. This is going to be basically the same color as this. Like we're kind of going for this, and this is part of like the diorama I built for the water thing, but I've also made other parts like these stone steps so I could use it for like a temple. And so at the end of the day, this whole thing can be reused multiple different times, set up differently for different kinds of photo shoots. And I also have this that I painted that is going to be used just because to make one of these out of the foam board is going to take a lot longer than I need. So that's kind of the idea of what we're going to do today. I was going to do stormtrooper stuff, but I think I'll save that for maybe tomorrow because I need to, well, I'll just bring it up real quick because I'm going to clip it and turn it into another video by itself. But I top coated this stormtrooper and I'm going to rough him up, weather him, make him look all dirty and beat up, then top coat him again. And at the same time, we're going to build this Blokey's stormtrooper, Blockies. And then we're going to compare the two. This and the Marvel Legends, or not Marvel Legends, sorry, the Hasbro Black Series, same company. So that's probably going to be for another time. So I do, the box just said no, I'm jumping on the floor, but I do want to start out by getting this set up and ready to go. So we're going to paint black over this real quick. And then we're going to work on cutting out some flagstones. And then I'm going to make some room and we're going to do the bottom of this. And we're going to mix, basically, to hold the dirt down, we're going to do a mixture of Elmer's glue, which is super cheap, mixed with water. And spread it out, and then we'll just sprinkle the dirt on there, let it dry, and then add more stuff. And that's generally just an easy way of doing diorama stuff. And now there's no real I mean, I'm sure there are other real techniques, but for something simple and in home, you know, that's pretty much all you need. So I just need to find myself. I thought I was so ready for this whole thing, but boy, was I wrong. I couldn't find my white paint. Then I found it, and it was crazy this morning. So, but anyways, yeah, we're gonna try to make this, look like this. Because technically these all go together. Like this was supposed to look like this. I know from the top it looks kind of weird, but it was kind of like this thing. And it was modular, so you didn't have to they weren't permanent. You can move them around. You can do, oh, let's see, there's some paint coming back through here. The paint chipped. Drawback to the pink foam sometimes if you use really crappy paints. So we'll probably touch this guy up a little bit. Just a little, but here's the other side. Not bad for a rush job. A little dirty and messy. I prefer this one better. It came out better. I added some of that green look for what's it called? That ocean metal corrosion look. Because I had the dock there originally. So, but anyway, let's get started. I can either use a sponge brush. Sorry, it's too top of my head. Sponge brush, which might do better coverage. So let's do that. And then, yeah, see, this will work just fine. And then we're going to use this. Should we use the Martha Stewart black or the Master's Touch? The Master's Touch is probably going to be thin. This is probably... Actually, I want to try this. I want to see how this sticks because I believe the Master's Touch is what I used on the other one originally. So what we're going to do is take a drink of water because it is freaking hot as heck already. We're going to cut this open. We're going to use it as a paint thing just because there's water in it already. Super easy. Oh yeah, also we're going to be throwing down some paint on one of my homemade trees and it'll look like this when it's done. So and these are always really good for dioramas too. So, and this is just paper towels, masking tape, Mod Podge and water, tin foil, and a cardboard tube. And then you can take stuff like this and just, I mean, it's easy for pictures and just put it in the top. Because the way you shoot pictures, you're not going to shoot the exact top of the tree. So you just kind of want the leaves to overhang and stuff like that. So that's basically what that's for. So we're all over the place with this stream today. They're super easy to make. Welcome. Good morning. How are you? They're really actually super duper easy. In fact, we're going to dump some of this water out because I feel like that's too much. And that wet palette is now a freaking super wet palette. So let's go with, actually, where is it? There we go. Use the old cups that I used before. And then we'll just do this. We're gonna shake it up, jiggle my fat arm. And yep, we're gonna dump some of that black paint there. We're gonna be using a lot of black paint, so I'm just gonna dump a bit. Sticky, chunky. I'm the weirdest crafter. I hate having paint and glue on my fingers, and it's like a tick of mine, but it gets on there anyway, so we'll just do this. But yeah, to start, we're gonna drop the base coat on this SOB and see how the coverage of this paint is. I'm gonna use, ooh, that doesn't look very, got a splatter. I need to invest in a better camera. I don't know, it looks weird on my screen, but maybe it's just my old monitor. So, but let's try this real quick. This looks a little too thin. So I'm going to add some more paint to it. That's just me. I feel like it's too watery. And you can usually find decent paints at Hobby Lobby. Always look for the sale. I personally do believe don't pay full price for nothing if you don't have to. Excuse me for burping. Yeah, so even getting it on my hand seemed a little too thin still. So, but let's try this. I feel like that's much better. Better coverage. I know I was normally going to do this later, but it gets so freaking hot. Like they want to turn on the air already, and I'm like, dude, the air unit's out here in the garage, so it would like overwhelm the stream sound. And I was like, just let me stream first. I'd rather do this in the evening, but it's when it's over 100 degrees every day, this garage gets hot. Like it's hot in here already. But here I am, bringing you the goods, bringing you the stream. So, still seems a little thin, but it's all right. We're gonna use my trusty little stir stick here. I should have just applied straight paint to it, so we're gonna do that. We're just gonna go all out. A blop and a blop and a blop here, blop and a blop and a blop there. So, and the name of the game is being in the junkyard, so everything's a mess and disarray, but it's fun. This one was put together with actual, I assume it's the same thing as Elmer's glue, but it's like foam glue. It's made for this stuff, and skewers, like for shish kebab or stuff like that. And that's how I was able to hold this together. So, and this is going to look really good when it's all got the browns and the grays in there, and it'll go with the rest of its pieces really well, and can be moved around to make different shapes. Like you can go for a temple or disarrayed, you know, prayer site from ancient times, jungle beat up looking, you know, temple. Mostly I designed it to look like some sort of like jungle temple from like the Amazon that they would run across or find. So it's like some straight Indiana Jones stuff. And the funny thing is originally I was like, oh yeah, I'll use this for my One Piece figures, like when they were in Skypiea. But then I was like, did they have temples in Skypiea? I don't remember. So only drawback to this is we're gonna have to like probably let certain sections dry, then come back to it, and hopefully it dries fast because it's warm. So. But there you have that already so far. A lot of diorama stuff is, you know, not precise. I mean, it's mastery comes in getting it done, not in how precise it is, because you want it to look, depending on what you're doing anyways, you want it to look a little beat up and worn. Unless you're doing some immaculately new buildings and stuff like that, then obviously you want your paint dead on. I try to be pretty good about my concrete look, so that I try to dial in with the sponges. We'll be doing that here on the gravestones after we do this, because I want to get a lot of the painting kind of out of the way so I can get straight to the ground of the graveyard / spooky scene. Ooh, spooky. Sorry if I'm boring. Hard to explain myself while I'm working. And I also have to be really careful that I don't push too hard. That's probably why I'm using the sponge brushes, because I don't want to snap. I mean, there are 2 skewers running through each one of these posts, or pillars, I should say, but I can already feel at the bottom here. It wants to just like go, see you. And there's that, you know, so. But we just need to get this layered, covered, a little base coat going. And that's, you know, the start. Then we'll come back in with some browns and grays and maybe add some moss to it. Maybe not, I don't know yet. I don't want to keep it just stone. I can put the moss on later as just like something I can like lay on it, take the pictures and then remove it, but I don't know if I want to make it a part of the permanent fixture. Yeah, this paint's pretty tacky. That's probably a good thing, maybe. I hope it stays on this foam. So you never know. I mean, that's a good idea, actually. Instead of just buying one outright as a kit, you can make like your own, make your own little furnitures and stuff. You'd even start with like a small box as your like your guide. Like find a box, put it up with your books, see how it looks for the size, and then build it within the box and then pull off the cardboard. So, all right, we're gonna set this bitch to the side because this is really where I'm at with it. So we're gonna let this dry. And it's gonna get all over the table, but that's why I use rubbing alcohol, 91%, to clean up the stuff. So we're gonna do that real quick. Because I don't want it to necessarily spread to the other pieces. And it dries pretty quick, so you get out of here. My cats have been kind of being ornery with each other lately. It's kind of a new thing, and I'm annoyed because I don't want to babysit two cats that are, well, one's just being a total jerk to the other for no reason, which is odd because you'd think it would be the bigger one would be a jerk to the littler one, but that's not the case. The little one's being Miss Hissy when he tries to come in the house from the garage, and then she just stalks him, and it's really bizarre. I've never seen her act like this. But then later in the evening, she'll go up to him and be like, "Groom me, servant." And then they're fine. But it's like, it has something to do with, I think, the garage door. So they're not allowed to come in here today because I'm trying to see if that's the behavior. But I also believe she's probably just got a lot of energy, and I need to sit down and play with her for like an hour. She's got that kind of energy, so. But you know, animals, they have big personalities. They're like children. They have their ups, they have their downs. So I just don't want them to not get along, but she's even kind of got a little bit of it. I don't know. I know my cats. It's funny. She's got this like look, like she's mad. I know that look. It's so weird to say that, but people are like, "Oh, you're full of it." But no, I'm serious. She's got this little FU attitude. All right, now I need the white. Where is the white? I just had it, didn't I? Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry, I gotta find the white now. All right, that's kind of weird. All right, so got some whites, got some grays. I used to have a bigger bottle of white. I don't know where it's at. We share paints sometimes with others, and I'm starting to wonder if the white's gone. So I'll probably head to the store, hobby store later when I go out. So, oh yeah, I got an announcement. I have a sponsorship on out. This day's stream is brought to you by the letter A for it's hot. Okay, that was dumb, but whatever. We're gonna use titanium white. It's probably a waste of decent paint. And it looks like this tube is possibly empty. Dang it! They better work it out, because I don't want to deal with that shit. I'll be real with you. They got along fine up until like 2 days ago. And they still get along. She's just like bullying him for some reason. It's weird. Like, it's really weird. But then she's just got like this little attitude. Like, and then I was like, this sounds really mean to say, but I was like, they're both fixed, so I don't think that's the issue. But I'm like, I wonder if female cats, because she's like a little over 2, like 2 in a couple months. But I'm wondering if if female cats still get like, symptoms, or I don't even know how that works. And I don't even want to ask the internet. I feel like this is stupid. But I was just like curious, like maybe there's some sort of like, because, dudes cycle too in their own way. If that makes any sense. Not to make this sound stupid as hell, but part of me was like, I wonder if it's just like little, bitchiness of, I don't know. Sorry, it seems like an insulting thing to say, but me as the overthinker was trying to like wrap my head around the behavior, because I'm very sensitive to like behavioral changes in people and animals, and because it makes me like feel weird. So it's like a little consuming to me. So I was sitting there like, what the hell is wrong with my cat? Plus, I don't want him to be like, in pain or have issues. So it's kind of like, well, what's going on? So here we're going to do a little gray sponge technique around the tombstone or headstone, which is looking good real already. Super simple. I don't know if you guys can see that yet, or if anybody else is watching. So I don't want to say what I was saying was as being rude towards females. That just, hormonal changes, pain. I mean, I don't know if she gets pain because she's fixed or whatever, but I don't even know how that works with cats. But maybe it's one of those misunderstandings of my own, like projecting my own human thoughts and feelings onto an animal which doesn't share the same concepts. So that could be it. But I just want them to get along, because yeah, it's like a wet palette, and it keeps the paint from drying out. And then that way I can like spread it out too, so I'm not like heavy on it. And for example, see, it's not really showing up for you guys because it's probably dark, but it's a way to control the paint a little better, keep it moist so it doesn't dry, so you don't have to keep mixing paint, if that makes any sense. So you have like the lighter gray mixed in with the darker gray. This is a thing I would do using model building, especially with like chipping, which is, I use the sponge for chipping. Like you take like your silver colors, your metallic colors, and hit the edges of the legs, or like the edges of certain things on the robot, so it looked like the paint was like worn away, and you have that metallic underneath look, but if it's in fact actually on top. But if you do it right, you can't tell. So, or there's some people who do an actual chipping technique where I believe they actually put the paint on, they spray it with hairspray, which causes it to like adhere incorrectly, and then they actually take like a toothpick and chip it away, and then top coat it, which makes it readhere. I might be misremembering that technique. I don't use it. I feel like that's just extra, and I'm I'm just trying to get it done and get it done. There's nothing wrong with being extra though. I feel like that was something I never really cared to try, if that makes any sense. And see, these look way better. I'm also trying to use this technique to cover up the print layer lines. So yeah, it is. It's very interesting technique. I never personally have tried it. I know some people might do. I think some people use it for like when they want texture too, like because some people like to put texture on their models when they're weathered. So like tanks, the treads on them, or the front fender, or like the front fenders and stuff like that. Texture can add the look of like caked on dirt and stuff like that. So I mean, there's sometimes I did model building where I really enjoyed the nuances of the little details like that. But I also had like some deadlines one year, and it really kind of, that and like social media drama kind of put me in a weird headspace with model building in general, at least Gundams. I don't enjoy it like I used to, and that's okay. And so there we go. See, nothing crazy, just super simple. I should have marketed this live better, but it's Saturday morning. So thanks, Nix, for showing up. You rock. I think maybe my girlfriend might be watching. I think she's at work still though, so I don't know. I feel like it's kind of absorbing into it, but we're going to set that one down for a second, and we're going to pick up the other one and do the same thing, but I need to mix a little bit more paint. So, and see there, I ran into an issue where it was a little too much white, so we're going to throw a little black down, get a little darker pigment. Yeah, see, I still need some darker. Just a little bit. And the cool thing about the wet palette too is when it's fouled up, it's paper towel, you just pull it out and see ya. But the sponge technique is like real great, especially on the end of it that's dry. So I'll apply this here like this. And then another thing I will do is go over to the dry one and knock off all the extra loose stuff till it makes like that cool pattern, and then tap it. Because it gives it that like, splotchy pattern that gives it those stone look. In fact, I think I might have knocked too much paint off of it, but less is more. Layers and layers is what I know to say. And then it's cool too, like some of this substrate right here, or moss, if you call it substrate. These are like modular, so I'll set them down, and then I can put some of this like at the base of it, and get that kind of cool graveyardy look. I had another headstone. It just said RIP on it, but it was so tacky looking. I was like, I'll just use blank ones because it's more for just ambiance than actually like, what's that headstone say? Because, it takes away from the other stuff that you're trying to accomplish. I was thinking about designing my own and selling them so I don't infringe on anyone else's work. But a lot of these files, when I was looking on Etsy because I was researching, a lot of people actually sell other people's files printed already, or they'll slightly modify them by like 5% and call it their own. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm not hating. I'm just kind of like, weird. But that's the world we live in, right? So. I want to get the Stormtroopers done. That would be a cool stream because I can turn that into a VOD afterwards. But I really want to get this going because I want to work on that. Before I get done with this stream, I'll show you the figure that I'm gonna use this for if it works out. Might be a different kind of review in terms of like how it's filmed and shot. I might not do the book or the box pose because my issue is with the background pieces. They're not tall enough. And so I'll have this gap. So I'm trying to figure out, I'll take the two, because I have like 6 of these now. Well, the one I paint will be the 6th one. So I'm thinking about taking 2 of these, putting them on the side, having the foliage go across the top to cover that gap. And then you'll have the stone walls that are different like depths. And then the headstones and like the grass and dirt. And then, but all for that box shot. And it's kind of like, the box isn't even impressive. It's like a plastic clamshell that's going to reflect most of the light I'm working with anyways. So it's kind of like, you know, one of those things. So here we go. This one looks better than this one because this one's got the darker gray still coming through. I'm going to set this one aside and I'm going to go back over this one a little bit with a darker gray, I think. Needs some more black paint, but I don't want to waste it by squaring it out. Just use what's in here. There we go. And I'm going to add in the gray, not the white. And hopefully get a bit of a darker gray like that. And then I'm going to splotchy over here. And I'm going to what's up, dude? I can go help you as soon as I'm done with this stream, actually. I really can. Just, what's up? You need me to revert it or something? I actually was going to hit up Scribbles and see if he wanted to play some Minecraft this weekend. Did I see the Alfie Cube Challenge? No. I owe you an apology, dude. I was supposed to jump on, and I did, and you weren't online, and then I just flaked out on the game, so... because I was overwhelmed with it. Like, I have, like, 10 projects going. I don't know which one to work on, and it's, like, stressed me out, so... I know that sounds super dumb, but... But yeah, today... I'll jump on and play today, dude. I do have to go to the store for a few things, but for the rest of the day, I ain't got shit going on other than making shorts for my YouTube page. No long review this week, guys. I just don't have this is what I'm working on to get that settled. But I mean, y'all who pop around and support, like, are totally understanding. And it's not like a big, popular, huge channel yet. And then I have faith that we're going to get there. Go Team Junkplo. And then, bro, do you have a PS5 yet? Please tell me you're going to get one. So play some Ace Combat 8 in October. Co-op missions, dude. Co-op missions. So there's the 2 headstones. This one still looks a little too, it needs some dark spots. Actually, let's just drop a lot, like it's hot. Sweet. Once I'm done with this Elliot game, I'm going to be playing Ace Combat 0. Because I've never played that one. That came with the pre-order, so that's still fucking too late. Pardon my French. Since April, well, that tells you how much I pay attention. I'm sorry, bro. I know, I just left you hanging on Minecraft. Maybe a Minecraft stream would be cool to do. Instead of Elliot. I guess I could work on the train station and the train track from Scribbles' Island to the underwater monument or whatever it's called. I feel like that's still too light. See, I haven't been in that on that much too because I've been playing on Server Steel Soul. I don't know what that is, dude. I'm not in the loop. I'm an old man, remember? Is that like one of the public things? Or is it a YouTuber thing or something? Yeah, that's not whatever. Those look alright. It's a public server? Oh, okay. Is it a Mojang public server? Or did someone put it on? Dude, it's still too light. And now it's too wet. Damn it. Oh, okay. Yo, I just made this thing look like shit. Looks like dookie. Oh, whatever. What y'all think? Good enough? They're going to be in the background anyway. But, oh, there's the camera. I'm all looking at my screen like where I put them. Look all right? I think they look all right. Good enough works for me. They were just a straight dark gray, so. Let's add just a little bit right here. My cats are trying to get in the garage and they are no longer allowed in here. I lied. I'm gonna add some whatever it's called. So what are we doing in the server that you need help with? What do I need to mentally prepare for? Are we building something cool, giant? Or is it the Wither Farm or something you need help with? Sorry, I realized I was probably off the side there. Add a little black crusty in there. Maybe that's too much. All right. I just realized my elbow when I'm doing this is probably hitting the table and shaking everything up. All right, I'm good with these. Endgame says they're good enough. They're good enough. So now we're going to move on to this. We are going to make some quick, like walking, oh, what the heck are they called? You know, when you're walking through a grass thing, there's like a stone walkway path. That's what we're going to make real quick. When you get on Minecraft, I should tell you the Suffer Cube Challenge and help find a new. Oh, sulfur. Oh, that must be an update that I have not even messed with yet. Yeah, you're going to have to... Sorry, this one looks bad. I'll just paint it black. You're going to have to explain it to me when I jump on for sure. So. All right. Now I need this. Where's my ruler? My ruler. Sorry, chat. Give me 1 second. That was my chair, not my butt. No! 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 God damn it. Freaking garage is a mess. I just dropped a really cool model. It's like one of the few models I painted that I like. Paint these as stones. You can use this as like an edge, and then this big old turd if I have to. So I can't find my ruler because everything's missing. But this is what it's like to be in the junkyard. So what I'm gonna do is cut the edges off so I don't have to mess with the curved parts. And they don't need to be perfect cuts. So get rid of that. And this is brand new for me. I've never used this kind of film before, but I was looking at it real quick this morning and I was like, this would actually work pretty well. So we're gonna give it a shot. And I'm going to cut that off. And of course, everything just keeps falling. I need to learn to not be so annoyed by things like that, but it gets frustrating when you're trying to do stuff and everything just wants to test you. Okay, and then we're gonna come over here. All right, talk to you later. You want me to hit you up on Discord or just try to jump all on and catch you? Put this over here. That didn't even cut a straight line, man. How bad is that? All right, cool. Later, dude. Thanks for coming by my stream. Appreciate it. All right, there's that. I probably shouldn't eyeball all this, but here we are, eyeballing it. And of course I fuck up, but that's gonna work in my favor because I wanted the edge kind of messed up anyways, so I think that's about as flat as it's gonna get. It's still all crooked and stuff, but it'll work because what we're gonna do is I'm thinking when I do the shoot, it'll look like this. This where my finger's at is the camera, but farther back, right? There's pathways right here. You have the two gravestones. You have the little mounds kind of, and then the dirt and the grass all in between, and then all these brick things and stuff behind it. And the figure will be sitting right here while I do all the camera work. Or when I take photos, you know, so I think that'll work. It definitely has some bendy to it. It is a little thick, but what I want to do is come in here and basically, see, I needed a ruler because now this is all just eyeballed like crazy, but maybe I have a point of reference. Sorry, bear with me here. I'm trying to think. Point of reference without a ruler. Do I have anything laying around that is kind of square? As I survey the land. I think, let's see. This maybe? Nope, too big. Let's go with, shoot. All right, we're just gonna eyeball it. This will be just an eyeball stream. So basically I'm gonna try to, and then we're gonna use this to pick pieces off, and then we're gonna use some tin foil to give it some texture. Then we're gonna use some black, and it should be good. This is probably like the worst idea in the world, but here we go. We're gonna do it. Fargate, right? Fargate. This looks okay. Yeah, the next stream we'll do Stormtrooper weathering and the blockies build. It's basically a little bit of figure customization, the Stormtrooper blockies build, and then we'll compare the two, like the size, because apparently the blockies is like close to the same size as the 112. I'm going to make a joke. It is Luke Skywalker version of Stormtrooper, so I'm okay with it being a little bit shorter. Because, you know, she says, aren't you a little short for a Stormtrooper in A New Hope? So we'll go with that. So. Okay. So now I want to make sure the idea of a ruler was I could make these stone blocks the same size. So I'm wondering if I can just use this as make a little ruler. Because, you know, work smart, not hard, even though I always do the hardest shit. Maybe not exactly the right size, but yeah, see, we're a little short here. So how could I redo this? Actually, you know what we could do is add pieces on the end that would be the equivalent of, is it this way? No, it's this way. Yeah. Ooh, I lost my measurements. Okay, so it was that. We'll do, and this is going to represent the extra. But I can break this up and make some pieces glued on to make it look like the full size length, but like broken pieces, because I am going to do that to these. I'm going to use this part to, like, for example, when I get in this crack, I'll be going like this, right, to give a groove. But then I can like make like cracks or take chunks out, because this one I'm going to take chunks out of. So like, do that, make the edges look more beat up. So, and then right here you can just push that in if you like the line you need, kind of. I'm still going to come across, this is probably all going to be super awkward, but it still went in a weird direction because once the foam catches, it's going to be weird. So, but right here, I can even like take this corner out a little bit. And what's cool too is you can add like grass, like it's growing through the cracks and stuff like that. That's why I like using cork a lot too for like asphalt on smaller like dioramas, because the cork can be painted pretty well to look like asphalt. I apologize. I'm like being drained already by the heat. So, and then if this doesn't look good, I'm just gonna scrap it, but I'll make another one on my own time. And I'm just making this up as I go along. There was like, I had an idea in my head and I'm kind of just going with it. So, and that doesn't look too bad. Sorta. It looks horrible, but whatever. It'll get the job done. And then you come in here and you can push this down a little bit to give it a little groove. Little groove tonight. Dun, dun. Same thing with this one. And run it through. Oh, there's glue on the end of that one, so I gotta be careful. But like, and it doesn't need to be perfect now, because the idea is these blocks are supposed to be old, worn, beat up. Like where I, drawing like the darker spots, I'm gonna chip that out. I can actually probably sit here and do something like this and make the crack go all the way through that one. And then I'll color this in because I'm going to make a groove cut. I'm going to scratch out that stuff basically. And that'll look like that. So this will be all like, I'll just do it right now. And that's another thing that's cool with skewers, is you can kind of like pop stuff out. Kind of can give you that cool, like, you know, broken stone look pretty easily on the softer foam. So, and a lot of this, unless you're like, I mean, I like to be perfectionist as much as possible because I'm the one looking at it later, you know, but most people don't really like get crazy and look deep into it. They just see and go, wow, that's like really detailed, or that's really cool. You know, they don't look and see, like, which is weird because I only do it to myself. When I look at other people's work, I do not really judge that harsh because everyone's art is their own. And not to put people down. Some people just don't have, and it's rare. Like, everybody has artistic views, but not everyone can pull off what they're doing naturally. But through practice and technique, they could. I'll say, like, anyone can learn to draw if they practice enough. Some people have an innate talent for it, where it's like literally no effort for them. So, but others like can draw really well, but it's a lot of effort for them. So I feel like anyone can do this given enough practice. And so we're gonna run the crack this far. We're gonna chip it out a little bit. And this is taking me a lot longer than I thought it would. Yeah, it's like weird when there's other times where I've phoned things in and still really liked it. And it was like easy, half-assed, and it worked out great. And that's when art's good to me like that. So that's gonna look kind of cool like that. So, and then we're gonna come through, and you don't want to push all the way through because then you'll separate the pieces, and I just want to keep them together so I can glue it all on as one piece. And sorry for the interruption. And go figure, never fails. Sorry, that's really annoying to me. I hate that. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But anyway, I'm trying to keep the pieces together so I can like glue it all in one go. So I do want them to look rough and beat up. So I'm not really concerned so much about like the perfect shape because I am going to put dirt and stuff around it, and it's going to get, some of them will get kind of buried a little bit too. So there's that. But I do not want to separate the pieces too much because then they'll be a bitch to glue. But these will get all that black base paint too, and then a gray chipping, and to get that stone look. But I think we're getting there. I might have gone too deep right there. So. And again, I'm making this up as I go along. This was totally extra. So, and we're gonna do that, do that, do that. Break the end of this one a little bit. See. And a lot of this will come through because when I paint it black and do the gray, and I'll do light grays like right here on the edges, and it'll make the cracks and the holes and stuff like that pop more. Hopefully. If I do it right. So. And then, because this one's the one that's all weird, we're going to just beat up the end real quick. In fact, maybe we don't really need to have a full block at this end. So there's that. And then these ones are a little too clean, so we'll like this. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get a piece of tin foil, a little tin foil ball, and we're going to do this. So. And this is an easy way to get a texture of a wall or concrete or, you know, anything that's kind of got like a brick look. I'm just going to wad it up and go nice and tight. You don't need to apologize, you're good. And so it's going to give it this texture. Also at the same time, it'll help with the paint sticking better. There's a book nook I saw that uses mirrors in it to do like this cool like optical illusion of like a long I believe it was a railway. It like reminded me of some Spirited Away thing, but I think it was like a Japanese rail station. But the mirrors made it go like look like the track was going like super far back when it really was, you know, only so deep. It was like really fascinating. And I was gonna try to do that with one of my dioramas on my shelf, but I never get around to it. My biggest problem is I have so many things going on in my head, and I feel like I need to do certain things at a certain time, and then it's like the bigger projects just get put aside. Like this one's one of those kind of like all these I made like a year and a half ago, and I never got completely finished with it, and I'm still working on it as we talk right now. So there we go with the texture. And so I know this is going to cover up the camera, but it'll be on like this, and you'll have like the dirt and grass and then the headstones, and then I'll put the brick stuff back here, and then I'll have like a setup. I'm even going to 3D print some like walls, like what is it, cemetery gate walls, just to have that are removable. I have a file for it, just never got around to printing it. They give me a chance to work on some like seam techniques and stuff like that. So, but that is that. And now we're going to, sorry, definitely going to remove this end. Make it look really beat up. This end a bit more. Let's get rid of that. And that one's all chunky. Let's get some more of that in there. And then I think that's a little too on the nose. There we go. I'm thinking this one. It's supposed to be used, beat up, chunks missing, stuff like that. And so, there. And this isn't perfect, but once I glue it down on there, it'll be permanent. So, how long has this stream been going for so far? Hour and 1 minute. All right. It's just getting hot, and I'm not trying to like run out on nobody. I want to get everything done. And this again is probably in need of just straight paint. Straight paint. Because I'll come back through with gray. Stuff like that. Sorry for all the racket. Walls are thin. I'm not a professional setup. I'm surprised that acrylic paint smells so strong. Like, that's really strong smell. And then so, since my hands are going to be messy and dirty, we're going to get the sides. Bottom not so much because it's going to get glued down, so I don't really need to waste paint on that. And having sometimes some like really crappy sloppy brush strokes are good because it'll add like the element of texture to the stone look. So you can use a lot of like kind of imperfect techniques to add to a perfected look. Just my opinion on it. So let's get it in the cracks there. And so there's that. And we're going to need to let that dry. So we're going to set it on top of this thing over here. Is this dry yet? See, this is getting dry. It's tacky. It's got that sticky feeling. So we're going to come in and we're going to keep touching it up. This we probably won't get done on stream. Probably won't even get done most of this on stream. But we're going to try. After this, we're going to start adding the dirt and stuff to the panel, and then just to get it going and to get an idea of what I'm doing. But we're always held back by the paint drying. It'll be dry by tonight, I mean, so maybe I'll do a follow-up stream later this evening. I need the video anyways because I do definitely want to turn a lot of this into a full video. Like the dock ones I did the last live, I'm going to take those because I'm going to be working more on that exact theme eventually here. I have an idea, just got to get it going. But I want to use all that as, how to build a dock or building a dock, diorama, wharf or port city, port wall, wharf wall, whatever you want to call it. Using the same modular stuff too. So, but, not the easiest thing to do. And it's hot, so. All right, so that one's just gonna get set over there. Let's move these headstones. Oops, I think I just got black paint all over it. No, I did not. I lucked out. What? Actually, let's paint some of these rocks. I don't know what they're for. I think they're for my Dragon Ball diorama that I really want to finish, but I do want to do that on stream. But that one's gonna be that. I want that to be like a long stream because it's gonna be a lot of carving and like just making it look really good. So it doesn't hurt to get some of these rocks painted because I can paint them the bigger chunks and put them down in like the graveyard or something. But oh yeah, I said the tree too, so we got that going on for us. Let us go and do the thing. Where's the paper towels? In fact, we'll just get a lot of this going, and then you know what? I will follow up with another stream on this later because I won't be able to do much when I hit a certain point because things will need to dry and settle. And I didn't even anticipate that, so yeah, today might just be a day of lots of streams because fuck it. Video game streams, crafting streams. That alcohol smells really strong. Ooh. Like, damn. Holy schmoly. All right, so let's see if I do this right. Let's move you. Oh shit. I'm gonna go over here. And that's the other thing too, is I felt like I needed to cut this, and I'm not even sure if I should cut it. But part of me thinks I should cut it. That's the thing. Because like that's not enough. And this way is plenty. So I don't think I want to cut it. I think we're just gonna give me a second real quick. I have to move a bunch of stuff. I did not anticipate that. Put you over here, put you over here, and you over here. So we're gonna do substrate, some ground dirt, and some grass. We have to mix some glue or Mod Podge real quick. And you want its consistency to be like milk. That way it dries, it doesn't leave like a look, but it also works good enough so that you can, what's the word I'm looking for? That it'll stick and not like fall off and be a total pain in the butt. So let's see here. Let's use this since it's already got water. I think this is enough glue. In fact, actually, I want to be weird. I'll start from there. And I use Elmer's glue because honestly, Mod Podge is a little more expensive and it kind of does the same shit. So. And normally you'd want to put this like in a spray bottle, but I'm just gonna brush it on because I don't have a spray bottle. And I almost called this episode 1, but this wouldn't have been a very good episode if I couldn't have finished this project in this sitting, but I didn't anticipate the glue. I didn't think about it. The glue would take some time to dry, so that's my bad. And we're gonna use our trusty little dowel, and we're gonna mix this crap up. If it mixes up. I don't even think this is enough. So what I might do is actually just pour it back in the glue bottle and shake it. So, and it feels a little. Because what I'm trying to avoid is like a gloss. Like I don't want it to leave like a residue. Yeah, we're gonna pour it back in here. And I'll just do this since it was empty. Might not even be enough to get a whole coverage, but I always got more Mod Podge and stuff that I can do. So we're gonna be, like there's a little roly-poly fossil in the foam bits. So let's do this. I know it's from your perspective, it's gonna be really weird because this poster board's bigger. So let's get out of here. Actually, maybe I can squeeze it up harder. So what I'm gonna do is essentially, I'm gonna mark the thing. So I don't go, I'm gonna use a little bit of white paint. And I want this kind of like backspace back here. Kind of like open with no dirt. Because this is where I'll be putting like these things. In fact, I need to come up more. Like, let's see here. Probably like right there. I'm just marking it so I kind of know where to stop doing dirt and grass and stuff. It'll get covered. Won't be a big deal. Again, I'm just winging it. Yeah, this is going to be the space for like the gravel. Then this flagstone will probably sit like right here. Right, like that. Ooh, that's chunky monkey. That's too much. I like the texture, but Jesus. So this will be like the walkway. All the brick walls will be back here. And then if I want, I could still use this as like a doorway in the background with the steps going up to it. So it's kind of like the idea is like a lot of this will be like removable and reusable. So all this is just going to have grass and dirt. I don't know yet if I'm going to glue this down. Because now that I put it here and start messing with stuff, I kind of feel like I need to be able to like move this around a little bit. So we're going to do a light layer of dirt. A very light layer. And we're going to see how thin this is. It's still too thick. Right? I need to be more like milk. What's up, dude? How's it going? Showed up while I'm sitting here dying. Just winging it. And it was open. Motherfucker. But hey, happy mistakes, right? That's a little better. Still a little too thick, so. Either way, when it's done, it's still gonna look good because I know how to cover my ass. That's still too fargan thick. Actually, that might work for a base layer, so let's just roll with it. And we'll use this guy because these are whatever. Try to keep it away from that spot I painted up there. This stuff is drying rather quick, so we're gonna We're going to get in here and just start sprinkling on some dirt. And it's okay if it has spaces, like it perfectly fine. Oh, there's little ants in here. We're going to have little real life creatures mixed in, so I should have applied it all the way across, but whatever. Yeah, see, it's not mixed right. It has too much chunk. This fucking glue bottle, dude. This is what happens when you do shit like all half-assed. That's crazy. It's so hot in here. This stuff is drying that fast. Like that's blowing my mind. Dude, what's up with the loogies? There it is. That's what I was looking for. There we go. How did it get nuked? What did you do? What did you say? That's much better. That's better. Look at that. We're just going to go sloppy jalopy on this thing. Maybe that was a bit too much, but better than not. Don't even know. Dude, Meta hates you, bro. That's why I don't leave comments on things anymore. Everything on Facebook's rage bait anyways. Like, it's all bullshit. Most of the stuff I see on IG is whatever. It's just parasocial bullshit within, like, you know, the nerd communities. But, like, Facebook literally has straight up just people making up bullshit on their channels. And then you go to the comments and it's like, straight up people are calling them out. Like, this isn't breaking news. This isn't even real. This is like a rumor. This shit is drying pretty quick already. All right, so we're going to just start dumping dirt on it. Because fuck it. Not too many big rocks if I can help it. Or pieces of wood. I just went out in the backyard and just scooped this up. In fact, let's just do it like this, I guess. Whatever sticks, sticks. Whatever doesn't, right? Except for leaves. We don't want leaves. Or these guys. Oh, yeah. The racism's just straight paid actors at this point. So. Except for I did see something funny on there. And I want to say this because it's not a political take. It's basically me poking fun at both sides because both sides are just fucking ridiculous and part of the problem. So conservatives, and this is not true, it's just a joke. Conservatives are racist and pretend not to be gay, and liberals are gay and pretend to not be racist. And I thought that was hilarious because, you know, there's a lot of truth in that from my experience. But except for the fact that most conservatives I know are not in fact racist, but some of them are closeted. And I grew up in a very liberal state, and most liberals I know are closet racists. So, and very emotionally charged. But personally, I think both sides are retarded. I think people need to stop fighting over stuff like that and look at the bigger picture. And that's my political take for the day. So, all us regular people should get along and look at the real problem is the political theater. Doesn't matter who's in office, you're gonna get fucked anyways. So, anyways, I'm done. Done with my rant. And so all this dirt is not gonna all stick. And we'll be applying a thinner glue with spray to add more dirt later. So right now it's going to be patchy. which is what I want, because then I can add the green substrate later to very much more easier and figure out my holes to fill if this works. So. Hey, I'd run for president, but I get shot. Because I could fix this shit real quick. Executive order to fire everybody currently holding a position. Massive, quick votes. Nobody over the age of 65 can run. Nobody under the age of 40 can run. You can't insider trade. You have to work for the people. I would register all foreign money as foreign, whatever it's called you're supposed to. Like none of the statesmen should be allowed to get any money from any foreign aid to persuade them. Foreign governments cannot have any deep input on our politics and laws here. They can on the global stage, but domestically, get fucked. That's just some of the things I would do. A lot of healing. I would try to heal the country. In the news, I would hold really accountable. We'd have to do without violating the Constitution. We'd have to do something big time about news organizations. I really think that would. They fragged your shit because I ain't doing dish soap. Fuck that. But good idea. That's too much work, bro. That's dumb that they fragged your stuff for selling things. Unless you've had problems with them in the past and someone reported you. So I'm gonna let this sit, and then what I'll do eventually is take it outside and dump the extra off. So that's kind of all I can really do at this moment while everything dries. We did the, oh wait, I could paint the tree trunk real quick while we're here. So we'll just do, I need to move this anyways. This is gonna suck. Hold on, y'all. You gotta be nice, man. I have this thing with Facebook Marketplace. It's I don't respond to certain kinds of messages about product. If you have and if the moment you try to complain about having to come pick it up for me at my public, because my public meeting space in El Paso is very fair. But I had to tell some guy once, I go, if you're too fucking broke to buy a $20 action figure and want me to sell it for you half, you shouldn't be buying toys. And he got all mad and he was like, don't tell me what to do with my money. I'm like, I'm just telling you, you're wasting my fucking time. Read what my description said. It says the price is firm. I'm not doing trades. I'm not going any lower. The only thing I would do maybe is if you bought multiple of these, because I had a wave that needed to be sold. I go, if you were to buy all of the wave, I would drop it $5. That's all it said. But I said, even in capital letters. So I was a dick about it. I was like, either you can't read or you just don't fucking care. I'm not backing down and I'm done with this conversation. And then sure as shit, I got a message 2 months later from the same guy, and then he tried the same bullshit. Oh, I can't meet here. That's too far. I'm like, it's too far. You live in the same town as me, dude. Fuck out of here. These guys, they're so dumb. And what they try to do sometimes is buy it from you, then resell it for more. Not going to say the name of the toy store in El Paso that does that, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Collecting is a luxury, not a necessity. And if you can't afford it, I get trying to haggle, but when you keep trying to push it, it pisses me off. And then a lot of the times, people just don't, they don't follow through. They're just full of shit. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go set this outside real quick. All right. right, so this is what it's gonna look like. I knocked off all the extra dirt, so that's what it looks like, and I'll be adding the greens and stuff like that, but I do need to let this dry, but we're gonna paint the tree trunk real quick. And that looked better, so. What's up, Mystic? What's going on, bro? So we're gonna do this tree real quick. I know later it's gonna be like 102, but I'll be back out here tonight for another stream to follow up with everything we did today on stream earlier. Like these flagstones that are just oozing fucking paint for some reason. We have to come back in with gray on this one, the other part, so to get this graveyard done. The headstones are done. Once my hands are free, I'll... What's up, Dave? Welcome to the stream. The headstones they got their little chipping done. It's not chipping, but I use that technique to get that stone look. And they'll be in the background, so I don't need them to be really bright. What's up, dead man? Shit, it's been a long time, bro. So we did the headstones, the flagstones, that's got to dry. The doorway, that's got to dry. And then everything else is, like I said earlier, going to be modular to this and these, because I reuse these for many other things. And then this one. So we're going to do the tree. It's going to end up looking like this. And these will be on the side. I am going to print up probably some gates, some walls with gates. And then you'll have like the whole thing. And the cool thing is when I'm done using it, I can break it down and put it away. And it's not just some big piece of diorama that's just taking up space like some other ones I've made in the past. So glad y'all could show up. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Dead man, I liked your... my feed was gracious enough to finally show me one of your things, and that Warhammer thing was dope, dude. Really, really like that picture. I'm almost tempted to run out and buy a Warhammer toy, even though I know nothing of Warhammer, but they just look really cool. So I'm going to go with the dark brown first, and we're just going to do massive coverage. Because at some point, we're going to end up doing this stuff again, like on that tree trunk I showed over there. And I do got to go to Hobby Lobby and pick up some more of this stuff, because this stuff just is really nice. It's that mossy kind of viney look. You can use it on the ground. Like, say you put it at the base of these headstones, stuff like that. So let's just get into it and use this brown. This brown is burnt umber. I use it a lot for everything. And I'm just going to straight goop it on here because don't need to mix it. And we're just going to spread it on there. And these trees are made with masking tape, paper towel rolls, a thin layer of tin foil to help with texture for the bark, because cheat code. And then a lot of, you can either use toilet paper or paper towels. In this case, I used paper towels just because it was faster coverage. And then use like a glue water mix. So that was how I made all these. The tape or the roots or the texture, these are all just like rolls of tape, and then you bend them. But also what I actually did to kind of get it there faster is like, this is just rolled a paper towel taped up with masking tape, and then just bent it, applied it, put more, because you can maybe see a little bit there, the tape holding it together, and then just layered it with the Mod Podge glue mix and the paper towels to get the texture. And then when you paint over it, you don't see none of that. Super easy tree, super easy technique. I've been making these since science fair projects back in the day as a kid. I mean, I kind of wanted to 3D print some trees, but that just seems like a waste of damn plastic when I can just use trash laying around the house, you know? So, but it's just easier that way. Upcycling is my favorite thing to do. It's a great technique for making water too. Or I use toilet paper for water. Same base though, or same glue base though, just like Mod Podge and water. Get that milky consistency. I was grounded a lot. Plus, I never not knocking anyone. I just never like buying this kind of stuff from people. I'd rather make it myself. And I've always been like artsy-fartsy, so there are some things I would buy from people that I just wouldn't want to make myself. Like if it was a good price, I would buy a full-size 3-story 1/12 building from someone, but the prices are always like so. Plus, I've kind of like figured out how to make my own now, so it's just getting around to doing it because I'm always trying to do photography, which has been slacking bad for the last year, and enjoying video games again. So when this dries, I'll go back over with like lighter browns to mix in with it to give it that like contrast, I guess is the word. Clay would work. You'd probably need to get like something to make texture on it. But what you said, yeah, for me, too heavy. I wouldn't. These I can drop all day long, and they don't really. Nothing really happens to them. Clay would just, and I'm a klutz, so you know that's the kind of the part about it. I keep making raspberries because I'm drawing blanks mentally. And the reason why I left them open at the top is so I can stick like the fake plants in it so they like overflow when you're taking your pictures, because you're not really, I never take top down shots of like trees. That to me was like getting in the way. So oh, your antlers, I totally read your comment wrong. This would be good for making antlers, that technique. Yeah, actually would be good. And see, I'm not too concerned about any of the tape color coming through or the paper towel color coming through, because I'm going to make another pass on this with other browns, as I said. So give me a second here. Check something. Okay. I can feel kind of like being weird somewhere if it's just getting hot. So this is kind of a waste of good paint, but for the trees, I would suggest Dollar Tree paint. But since I'm here, I'm like, might as well just use this. Plus, I got all this paint pretty cheap at Hobby Lobby the other week, so not a big deal. I'm just surprised this paint has like an odor. It's really interesting. It's acrylic, and I never smell acrylic paint, so not that it's like dangerous odor. I mean, it could be for all I know, but it's just weird. I never really smelled acrylic paint before. Now, if this is enamel or lacquer, I'd be like passed out already. Be seeing the rainbow like, woo! I know, right? Super exciting. I should have had an energy drink before this. I've been like, we're gonna paint a fucking tree, let's go, yeah! Dead air, dead air. Tree, fucking trees. We're making trees all day long. Trees and dirt, dirt and trees, dirt and trees. And then now I have a Minecraft obligation, which is fair because he's always asking me to play, and I pay for that damn server and I haven't been on it in like months, so I might as well just jump on. So I might be streaming Minecraft today on top of Elliot, on top of a follow-up stream for this. So content. Plus it allows me to be social, so that's good. So thank you guys for Coming by and chit-chatting with your boy, Junk Plow. I think I'm using too much of this paint. I think I could have watered it down. But I'm almost wondering if it's because this was made over a year ago, just never painted, found it in a tote of other diorama stuff over there behind me. And I was like, oh, I'll paint that on stream because I'm going to need them for something eventually here. And because I figured some of the stuff would dry, but I didn't realize. Well, I realize now that it would take longer to dry than I had actually anticipated because, you know, I'm a genius like that, super stupid. And so, yeah, it was like, well, if I water it down, is the water going to loosen up the dried Mod Podge mix and it become, you know, kind of floppy and fall over or warp its shape? Because that's really not what I want, because this is pretty hard. So, but I just need most of it covered. The other colors I'm going to be going over will fill in the cracks and stuff. So that's not a bad idea. Jing, that is actually not a bad idea. I should try that. I know you can use a glue gun to make. I've seen someone, they were making like jellyfish out of it. But then I saw someone, they used a glue gun to make like Kamehameha, like effects. But the glue gun was to make the shape, to make a mold, to pour something into it, like a resin. And it made and they added dye to it, and it looked like an actual like blast. And I was like, really like, whoa, that's really cool. But for tree stuff, sure, that's actually not a bad idea. Wonder if I could do it to make like water, like effects, like water shoot up behind something. That's true, because all my trees look exactly the same, like they're from the same forest, which is like the forest of boring. How was your work meeting, by the way? Guess I could have asked you that when I went inside, but. Good, that's good. I feel like I need to take another shower after sitting out here sweating to death. Yeah, we're going to come back in with a different color when this dries. It's going to be something sombre. I forget the name of it. It's a nice brown. I'm running low on it. It's okay. It's the one I use on these bricks, so I'm just probably burn it up today on all these different paint projects. But we will have to definitely come back and do a part 2 of this evening, because all this needs to dry. I can't work on it while it's wet. We don't have a dog. I can slip in the cat door. I don't have an energy drink though. I'm out of Celsius. I'll buy one at the store. No, it's just hot. I just feel drained. I feel like I just like wasted a shower. The cat door. And the cats are not getting along. Oh, you got me one? Dude, that's cool. Awesome. Well, there's the tree for now. Let's get a little. Nah, that's fine. I'm almost done here for this stream. We'll be back later this evening for part 2. But let's go over what we did. So we have this. This is getting dry. It's really tacky. This is made with a meat tray. This is going to be like a walkway. The gravestones will be on either side. Oh my God, it fell on the thing. Oh my God, it just flew across the thing, so it's so light. And then the dirt thing over here, I don't want to bring over, but it's drying, and we're going to add the green substrate, the grass, the moss. I do got to go to Hobby Lobby. This will probably cover it, but I'm going to mix them together. And we're going to do like a sprinkle technique with one of these cups and a lid. I have one over there. And that way it'll get that, because this is too bright on its own. But this mixed with it will make it look nice. And then, what else did we do? Oh, the doorway. I got to make a door. In fact, I'm going to do it in my spare time. Not on stream. We're going to cut a door. I'll probably use a piece of paper. Like there's this nice paper over here. And we'll just, because then I can pop it out. Like cardboard, like cardstock. Paint it brown real quick because that'll dry quick. And make it look like an old creaky door. It's not even the right size for the figures, but it'll work because it'll be in the background. It'll be perspective and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's coming along. So it'll all look really cool. The figure review, we'll see how it goes. Like it might not even look right. I might end up using that stupid ass street scene again for the alleyway. I say that it's falling apart. I've had it for long. I use it too much, and I generally just like variety because I get bored. So, and I don't want to like pay extreme sets, exuberance amount of money for cardboard backdrops when I can kind of like make my own with my own stuff and reuse them for different things. So, because y'all know I love making the videos. Although I feel like I need to start being a little more critical in them. Some figures just, like I'm starting to see a pattern with SH Figure Arts that's not bugging me, but I can see why people are bothered by it. But I'm super biased by those figures because I love them. So they could sell me a shitty one. I'd still be like, oh, this figure's great. It's great, man. But anyway, I think that's where we're at right now. I know this is a little bit shorter than 2 hours, but I got to let this stuff dry. I got to get a bag of rice. I got to go to Hobby Lobby. And it's really hot in here. So I'm going to say I will catch you guys this evening. If you're around, I'll stream again. Thank you for everyone who came by, everyone that chatted. I appreciate it. If you're new here, if I've earned your subscription, sub. If not, totally understand. But anyways, stay frosty. Peace out.